Hey guys, what's up? So I'm coming to you from the tub in my bedroom again. Yesterday it was ridiculous and now it's just kind of tradition. Actually, the only place where the acoustics are really good in this apartment are in the bedroom, and the lighting's pretty good in this corner, so I'll stick with it. Welcome back to my attempt to force myself into making and releasing videos more frequently. Today was day number 2 in Amsterdam. This morning for breakfast I tried Dutch pancakes for the first time and they were delicious. They're thinner than American pancakes. This one was like jam-packed with stuff. So it had apples and almond and cinnamon, and it was good. I'd recommend it. The menu was entirely in English. I'm finding that more than any other place that I've been to in non-English speaking countries, Amsterdam is super English friendly, and so you'll find a lot of like, not just menus in English, but like restaurant names in English too. Now, after pancakes, I headed off to the Amsterdam Museum, which is about the kind of history of the city, and it was super cool. My worry going into it was like the Van Gogh Museum yesterday. Like, how can they fill an entire museum with this like one small subject? I don't get it. I would actually say that it was the best museum that I've been to here. The first part of the museum is called Amsterdam DNA, and it kind of goes through the history of the city from, I don't remember when it started, the year 1000. And it goes through like facts and figures about the history, and I'm not going to do it justice, but it was just a very cool thing, and it was really well done and really well presented. The Olympics got a mention in the exhibit as well, because Amsterdam hosted the 1928 games. The part of the exhibit kind of showcased how the games have grown over time and how much bigger they are now. Although the count of athletes and the countries keeps growing over time, the number of gold medals that the Netherlands won was the same between 1928 and 2012, so... The next exhibit was probably what sealed the deal for me. It was an exhibit on Schiphol Airport, Amsterdam's airport, which celebrated its 100th anniversary back in September. This was awesome. I love transport stuff and I love airports. The exhibit went through the history of the space. Like, the airport is several meters below sea level, and so how they had to like drain out the water, the history of how each runway was added, and how it was impacted by World War II and German occupation. And it was like super cool. Most of the time when I go through museums, I kind of like skim through each exhibit and skip over stuff and don't read everything. This was one of those cases where I read absolutely everything and it just fascinated me. It was super cool. After the history stuff, they had like an example flight controller's desk and like a passport control desk. That was interesting. All of that was stuff that I was interested to learn more about. After the Amsterdam Museum, I either wanted to go to the Resistance Museum about the Dutch resistance to German occupation in World War II, or the National Maritime Museum. They were both like clear on the other side of town, like a mile plus away. So I just started walking in that direction, and it took me through Dam Square, which is like the main city square. It's named after the dam on the River Amstel, which is what the city is named after, the Amstel Dam. I learned this because I was just at the Amsterdam Museum. On the way I got some like street french fries. It's a thing here where you get like a little like paper cup of french fries and then there's like a sauce on top. I just got fry sauce, which I don't actually know what it is. It was pretty much mayonnaise, which was like tasty in small amounts, but like a little much, to be honest. I ended up like throwing away a lot of the like gross, soggy fries that got a little too mayonnaised. Then I continued on the walk and saw some more canals, and then I made the game time decision to go to the National Maritime Museum because it was closer. Both museums were like 2 hours away from closing. I just picked the one that I could maximize the time at. I went to the Maritime Museum. Honestly, it was kind of a disappointment. Part of it was that I had been to the National Maritime Museum in London and then another like Royal Naval History Museum or something in Portsmouth, England. And those museums kind of like blew this one out of the water. Ha ha ha. It wasn't so much that the subject matter wasn't interesting, it was just like not presented in an interesting way. The building was pretty cool. It was like square shaped with a giant courtyard in the middle. It reminded me of the British Museum, which I had seen a couple days before. I got some footage of that, so if I ever get my act together, you'll actually see that. The exhibits in the museum showed model ships and atlases and navigation equipment, some paintings. There was a section on like whales and whaling. I just learned today that after World War II, whaling made a resurgence in the Netherlands because it was like a cheap food source and the country had been starving. That was kind of disturbing. The part that probably was the most interesting to me was about the Dutch East and West India companies, about trade into like West Africa and the Caribbean and Indonesia, and I can't actually remember all these places because we never call them Indies today. But the exhibits were interesting because it was about the height of Dutch influence around the world when they were the world's major naval power. The last thing that I saw in the museum was that they had like a recreation of an old Dutch East India Company ship, and I got to walk around that, and there was recreations of cannons and whatever. This was a major disappointment to me because I got to see some like way bigger and way more interesting British ships a couple weeks ago. So this was kind of like, meh, seen it. And so not only was the ship not as large, but I don't think the exhibit was as well done. So anyway, there's one more sea battle that Britain won. When the museum closed, I started walking home, and I actually walked through the red light district because it was on the way. I didn't get a lot of footage there because it felt really distasteful to like record the women in the windows. So all I have is kind of some generic footage of what the red lights looked like in the district. And then it's kind of started sprinkling out, so I gave up and walked home, and now I'm here. And it was raining out, and I don't want to leave the house. The good news is that I have a bunch of food here. Okay, it's cookies and candy, but I can still make a meal out of that. And I'm hoping to record all that and do a food video. Again, keep me honest on that if I promise to make one and don't actually deliver. That's all I got for my second day in Amsterdam. I'm having a really good time here. I'm really glad that I took this trip to spend a little bit more time in the city. I've got 2 more full days here, and now I'm starting to get stressed out that there's not going to be enough time to do all the stuff that I want to do. But hopefully I can pull things together and fit it all in. Okay, I'm done rambling for now. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next leg of the adventure. The part of the museum that I thought was probably the most interesting was about the Dutch Golden Age of exploration, about the East and West India Company, or about the East and West Indies companies. I think it's Indies, not India Company. British was India. Yeah. You see how much I understand geography? This is getting ridiculous. This is gonna be a nightmare, I can already tell. Oh my god, why is this so hard? Okay, I'm not even done talking about the fucking pancakes. God damn it.